Alright, now let's get into some graphing because that's what this whole thing's all about. We're asked to use a table to graph the equations. So when we say a table, we're kind of doing something similar to what we did in question 2. We picked an x-coordinate and we plugged it in and we found our y. That's kind of what we're going to do with the table. So our table is going to look like this. It's a T table. Looks like a T. We'll plug in our x-coordinates on the left and our y-coordinates will come out on the right. So again, we're just going to pick some arbitrary x numbers. So I'll do -1, 0, and 1. Now, if I were to plug in -1 for x, we'd have a negative, since we have a negative in our equation. Plugging in for x, -1 plus 4. So we have y is -1. Remember, two negatives cancel and give us a positive, so we have 1 plus 4. So we get y is 5. So that's what we'll put in for our y in our table. So go ahead and try the next couple on your own. Plug in 0 and then plug in 1. So if we plug in 0 for x, we'll get -0 plus 4. Well, -0 is just 0. So we can write this as 0 plus 4. And then 0 plus anything is just that number. So 0 plus 4 would be 4. So we get 4. And then finally, for x is equal to 1, we'll plug in 1 for x. So you get y is -1 plus 4. And then -1 plus 4 is just +3. So we get y is 3. Okay, so using our table, what this does is it gives us 3 coordinate points. It gives us the point -1, 5, 0, 4, 1, 3. So on the left side of a column, we had all of our x coordinates, and on the right, we had all our y coordinates. Now, when we're graphing, we need to remember that our horizontal line is our x-axis, and our vertical line is our y-axis. So if we wanted to graph the point -1, 5, well, we know our x-coordinate is -1, so we start at the origin, we go left 1. Now, from this point, we want to go up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is where our coordinate is going to be. Doing the same thing with 0, 4, we're going to start at 0, and then since our x-coordinate is 0, we're actually not going to move anywhere, left and right, but we will move up 4. So up 1, 2, 3, 4. And finally, for the point 1, 3, we'll move to the right 1 and up 1, 2, 3. And then we'll just connect our dots, and that'll give us our line. And we'll add arrows on the end to imply that this can go on forever. So imagine we plug in x coordinates forever, we find all those y coordinates, that's our line. So go ahead and try 2 and 3 on your own and see if you can do it. So let's set up our table. We have x on the left, y on the right. I'm going to use the same x coordinates I used on the last one, so -1, 0, 1. So if we plug in -1 for x, we'll have -3 times -1 plus 1. Negative times a negative is a positive, so we have -3 times -1, which will give us +3. We still have our plus 1. So y is 4. So that'll be our y coordinate. If we wanted to plug in 0 for x, we get y is -3 times 0 plus 1. Well, anything times 0 is just 0, so we get y is equal to 1. And finally, if we wanted to plug in 1, we would get y is equal to -3 times 1 plus 1, which will give us -3 times 1, which is just -3, plus 1, so y is -2. And now, graphing this, again, this is x, this is y. We have the coordinates -1, 4, 0, 1, 1, -2. So for the first coordinate, we'll start at the origin. We go left 1, up 1, 2, 3, 4. For the point 0, 1, we start at 0. We don't move left or right any since our x-coordinate is 0, but we do go up 1, so right here. Finally, we have 1, negative 2, so we'll move right 1, down 1, 2. And then we connect our dots, and there's our line. Now for this last one, we're given x is equal to 9. So I'm actually not going to use a table to do this one, because since we have x is equal to 9, this tells me that x is always equal to 9. So we'll always have x equal to 9. So if we find 9 on our x-axis, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, here's where this is. So this tells me that we can have any y value, but our x value will always be 9. So for instance, we could have the point 9, 1. This is the point 9, 0. We could have 9, 2. We could have 9, 5. It doesn't matter what our y coordinate is. Our x coordinate is always 9. So we can just make a vertical line at 9. And that's our line.